Well, we just got an absolute news bomb from Lorcana. Welcome to the Glimmer Gang podcast, everyone. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the news IGN just released. We hope you all enjoy. And as always, everyone, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4.5 of the Glimmer Gang podcast. Why 4.5, you may ask? Because episode 5 has already been recorded, but we got some huge news today to talk about. Now, before we get to that, we are sadly without our host, Sean, today, but we do have Dan from Hobbies and Happiness. So, Dan, who are you and what is Hobbies and Happiness?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? So my name's Dan with Hobbies and Happiness. So my business partner, Jim, and I started Hobbies and Happiness about a year and a half ago. I guess to be fair, Jim started it before me, and then I kind of just latched on. So when he was recording content for Hobbies and Happiness, I was doing some other Magic the Gathering content on my own. However, over a few months, I kind of stopped doing that because life kind of got in the way. And then we came together and we started doing a lot more with Hobbies and Happiness. And the reason we came together was because our local game store closed. And so that was where we met, and we knew our local community really loved that store, and the community that we built and were a part of really needed a place to go. So we got together and said, we need to bring this community back together. And the reason we started was we wanted to open up our own LGS. So we started Hobbies and Happiness as a way to do that. And so what we started was we started recording a podcast, and then we started creating content. And so I remember our first podcast episode was in my condo kitchen. Still remember that episode. Is a lot of fun. And I still go back and listen to that every now and then just to kind of see how far we've come in a short amount of time. But yeah, so that's what we're all about. We love card games. That's kind of how we bonded with one another, is over card games. And we do pretty much all things card games. And then when Lorcana came out, or excuse me, I wish that was true, right? I wish that was true right now.
I think we all do.
When it got announced, we were like, yeah, this is going to be sweet. Or I hope it's going to be sweet, because we were doing actually a lot of villainous content at the time. And so Disney plus card game, like that seemed like right up our alley. So yeah, if you guys can find us on hobbiesandhappiness.com, we've got our YouTube channel and then a podcast called the Hobbies and Happiness Podcast, where we talk all about card games for the most part. But yeah, that's Hobbies and Happiness.
Awesome. Well, like I said, we are glad to have you. But before going into our actual episode, we just got some amazing news, courtesy of IGN, and it released all the products that is coming out for the game. And the biggest thing was we actually have a release date now for Lorcana, which is August 18th. And the August 18th release date is for your local game store, so like all of the hobby stores, brick and mortar stores. Nothing big box yet, but the big boxes are going to come September 1st. So a few weeks for all those LGSs to get the hype up and for people to go buy. And then big box stores will also have them there. And then, but we will know that the first product will be officially available at Gen Con this year, which is August 3rd through 6th of the year. And it also has been confirmed by Nive on Twitter that Gen Con will be the first place for physical cards we receive. So I know there was like some rumors on Origins and other things being the first place, but no, it is going to be Gen Con, and I think that's pretty exciting. I know there is a lot of people that are excited for Gen Con. I think that because it's been confirmed, the planning has already started, even though it's like half a year away. So today was a good day for the Lorcana community and being able to get all this news and be able to push forward, and like we're making content right now, and I know there will be a lot more content come out, and there's a lot to talk about now, when this probably is the biggest announcement since D23 and all of that. So what do you guys think about the release date and all this, like the basic news about Gen Con and all that? What do you guys think about this?
I'm not surprised by Gen Con, because that's kind of what everybody thought. That's what everybody has been, at least in the community, was thinking. When we went to Gen Con a couple years ago, Ravensburger historically has a very large booth. They've got a pretty large presence at the convention, so that was kind of why I thought, Gen Con. So I wasn't surprised by that. Honestly, I was a little surprised by the product announcement. I kind of thought they'd announce that after they would announce the gameplay. But I'm very just intrigued by their marketing and how they're going about getting this game out into the wild. I mean, I think they're just letting the community, like literally what we're doing right now. I think they're just letting the community do all the hype. They don't have to do much. They just got to be like, we have everything. We know everything, that everyone wants to know. Let's just parse it out a little bit at a time and let the entire community take the wheels essentially. So, I was very surprised by all the product being announced today, but I'm really stoked.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, they're trickling and parsing it out, and today they just dropped so much on us. Um, and yeah, I was on the same page. I thought that they would announce product at like Origins, which is June, and having it now is crazy. But the thing that floored me was August 18th. Yo, that's not the fall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so my wife's a teacher, and then they normally go back to school in August. So, like, if you're in the education sector, I feel like you would, depending on who you are, I guess you may classify mid to late August as fall, but it's still typically pretty warm in August, though. So yeah, if it is fall, it's like right on the tail beginning of fall.
Yeah, I'm also a teacher, and yeah, we're going back. I have to go back the day after Gen Con, which is going to be so exciting. But
Oh,
for
no
me,
way.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, for me, so that's going to be a rough day. But yeah, no, for me, August 100% still the summer. I'm also in Louisiana though, and it's boiling hot in August. So
I'm in the Midwest, so I experience like every single season pretty
Yeah,
much.
I
So
I'm I I'm also in the Midwest, and like August, it's like it is one of the hottest months of the year, I think. But no, like you were saying, Dan, August 18th, or no, this was Sneaky that was saying this.
sneaky.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yes. August 18th. That is a lot earlier than I expected. Uh I was expecting like September-ish, maybe even
Yeah.
October.
Yeah, that's what I was
Because
thinking too, to be
because if
honest.
you
Yeah.
look at it, August 18th is early enough for them to have a second set released like November-ish right before Christmas. It shapes up for them to have two sets by the end of 2023.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And so
oh
I
yeah,
think
they could have the
Because
last
I'm all
again,
one
it
for it.
right
yeah, because it
right at Christmas. Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because
like
Yeah,
because
three
again, they
months.
they have announced four sets a year. So four sets a year, I mean, that pretty much lines up with each quarter. So,
mhm.
if it's August, that's Q3. So you've got one set Q3, one set Q4, and then that gets you into 2024.
And I think also like having an even number of sets at the end of every year is also nice too. I don't know, just in my mind that makes sense.
Do you like symmetry?
I
Is
do.
is that why?
I definitely I'm a being somebody who's worked with like computer or like design and stuff. Symmetry and evenness works well with me.
I
But
I,
no.
I agree. I'm kind of right there with you. It's
Yeah.
pleasing. It's pleasing to my mind.
It'll be interesting to see like how they handle those sets. Like if they use the old like Magic the Gathering thing where it's like three sets is a block and then an additional set that's your base set, like Magic used to do before they went crazy. Um because that was like the old thing. So it'll be interesting to see if they follow that same formula or if it's just four sets and they just continue the storyline.
I would assume it would be four sets because
At the
they're
least at
not
the
build.
start.
Yeah, and my reasoning is I don't think they're necessarily building up the lore. The lore is already, the lore is Disney. Like, and I don't think, and I don't know, obviously because we know very little, but I don't know if they are building up like a separate storyline or story arc to follow. Who knows? I mean, a lot of people like that, especially when it comes to their TCGs. For I'm normally in it for like the gameplay and the mechanics. But like if you're telling a story, then you're probably going to get a lot more people, invested and interested for sure. But with it being Disney, it's like that is already. I mean, it's 100 years of IP to work with. So that's where I'm like I'm going to be very interested. And we saw some of that today, which it's really really interesting.
All right, Blake. I know you got cut off. What you got, sir?
Oh, I was just going to say they're releasing it just in time for my birthday, so that makes me very happy. I am my birthday's August 23rd, so it's like just in time.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that 18th is gonna be like pre-release is the 18th, because that's kind of the same formula that Magic is using now. Like people are complaining about Magic's pre-releases not being pre-releases anymore because the cards are immediately legal. But their big thing for like IRL is that it doesn't go to retail until a couple weeks after the pre-release, so it's still a quote unquote pre-release.
Hey, you want to come play in this pre-release? I can sell you the pre-release product, but I can't sell you any other cards because it's technically not street legal. Come back in 2 weeks. Yeah, that goes over really well.
Yeah, I think Pokemon does it really well, and like the 2 weeks leading up to the 2 weekends leading up to the weekend of release, they have pre-releases, and that Monday before like world release or like big box store release is when OGSs can officially sell it. And I think, and they just do those 4 sets a year, so I think they do it really well. And I don't want to like if Lorcana copied it, I wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But if they were to resemble it in a way, I definitely think that would be good.
Speaking of, Blake, you want to tell us about what we can look forward to on release?
So, what I actually have next here is some quotes from Brian Miller, the man himself, from the article. Uh, he says, players and the community is absolutely the most important component of a TCG. We are partnering with hobby and game stores to host our organized play programs as they bring people together to learn, play, and trade and help welcome new players to the game. We also want to make sure that hobby stores know how much we value them. As someone who has worked at a retail hobby store and run hundreds of tournaments, I know firsthand how much effort, time, and care goes into running in store events. So, any thoughts on that quote from Ryan Miller?
Right now, it doesn't mean anything, right? I mean, we all want to look at that and say, "Oh, that means he's really going to value everything." Right now, it's just lip service, right? Which again, and I don't say that to be like a Debbie Downer, right? I have no reason to doubt his intentions. I have no reason to doubt he's not going to follow through. It's just right now, with it being a company who's never done something like this before, there's just so many questions up in the air, right? What it seems like is Ravensburger has done a really good job at bringing together a team of people who really know how to build um, a successful TCG. Okay. But it's just right now, all we have to do is we just got to wait and see. It's just wait and see what happens. And I think right now, like there has been very few missteps from how they're releasing stuff. And even with this article, prioritizing LCG, excuse me, um, uh, what am I looking for? LGSs. There we go. by by giving them the product like a few weeks before big boxes. So it's like they're checking all the boxes and everything is in the right direction. We just got to wait and see. But I feel like every time we see something new, it's getting a lot of us in the community more and more excited because they're saying all the right stuff.
I will say before I get into my point about this, they are doing what they're doing very well. Like you said, there are little to no missteps, and I think they are definitely giving the community what they want when they want it. And if they keep this up, who knows what could happen. My point on this whole thing in like the LGS is it does excite me, and I think it should excite everybody. But like you were saying, like if we don't like they will have to come through with it in a way, but I think they will. I think Ryan Miller has done so much good stuff, and just Lorcana in general and Ravensburger, they have done everything right. And I am very excited just to see like what they are going to put out there. Just like organized play. If you can get a good organized play program with like locals, regionals, and like eventually a world championship, you are going to thrive and you are going to do very good in the TCG space. And they do have to do a lot right to get there, but if they do, I could bet you there is a chance they compete with the top 3 and even make it a top 4 with Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and Pokemon.
So we actually did it. We actually have an episode of our podcast where we talked about could Lorcana make it the big 4, and we talked all about how the big 3 is the big 3 for a reason, and how Lorcana in our minds isn't gonna like replace either one of them. But we foresee they could make it because everyone talks about the big 3 in the TCG space. But instead of it being the big 3, it could potentially be the big 4. We think Lorcana has that potential because of the brand that Disney is. Okay. Now, again, this sentence here, we also want to make sure that hobby stores know how much we value them. Again, you can say that till you're blue in the face, but if you don't follow through on that, then those LGSs, aren't going to care that you said, well, he said they care about us. How do they show that they care about LGSs? Making sure that they get product, honestly, ahead of big box retailers. And a lot of that, I think a lot of that is going to be out of the team's hands. Okay. Because a lot of it is involved with contracts and printing, like print sizes. But you got to make sure that you are showing these LGSs that you do value them by making sure they have product, they can get the stuff that they need. And then when it comes to organized play, making sure the stuff that you're giving these LGSs is worth it for the players, like for the players and for the stores themselves. Because the LGSs is where TCGs thrive. They either thrive or they fail. So again, saying all the right stuff, but we I just hope that they follow through with all this, which I have no doubt that they will. I'm not questioning it. I'm just stating that in order to make follow through on your word, you've gotta follow through on it. That's all.
Yeah, I'm in the same place where what I really want to see is what does this mean? What kind of support are they giving the LGSs? Like you said, it starts with getting them product and getting the product early, which, if this is
Right.
the pre-release is, what we should expect and getting it 2 weeks early, that's fairly standard. But if that's all the support they're getting, that's not enough. Like they need support for the organized play or other types of support to get people to come through their doors, not to just go grab a couple of packs while they're getting their groceries. All right. So, what kind of support are they giving people to build a community, continue developing that community, and to grow that community? And that's the big one, is the grow.
What does that look like for you, Sneaky?
So for me, it's going to be a lot of like prize support in terms of like tournaments and things of that nature that you're not getting anywhere else. And so it gives people a reason to look into, oh, well, all these cards are, LGS only. You can only get them at the LGS through organized play. Well, I have two options. I can either, if I want those cards, and they don't have to be like exclusive to play cards. Like they can be promos, cool art, altars, like whatever it is. But it's going to give people an option. They can either buy it off the secondary market, and then it might have value to them, but not as much as if they go to the LGS and get it themselves and interact with other people and have fun enjoying the game together. Like it gives people, especially newer TCG people that are just looking at it and coming from the Disney collector side of things or anything else like that, and they're just like, okay, well, maybe I should just go and check things out. Maybe I'll pick up this card I like. And then if they go and they have a good time and they meet people, then they'll stick around and they'll keep playing and they'll participate and they'll grow the community. Giving them access to, free stuff to give away, for events or some kind of whatever they want to do with it. Just stuff for them to entice people, as well as also like pre-release kits, draft kits, all that other stuff that you can only do at an LGS. You know what I'm saying? Like things that are going to allow them to bring people in.
So what it sounds like you're looking for is specifically products, okay? Products that are enticing for players to give them a reason to come to the LGS and learn and play the game. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my first place to go. And then also like accessibility of giving people the information that they need to find events, and to make it easy for them to participate in them. So I know like certain other card games have some really cool uh, apps or websites or things in nature to just find their LGSs, as well as other ones have like really nice tournament organizers to where you can find events and sign up and you can do everything through there. And then you also get additional goodies by doing that and playing at your LGS as well. So like there's a lot of different ways. My first thing is shinies because everybody likes stuff. Like it's a card game. We're here because we want stuff, but also having it be accessible is important as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, as somebody who plays a lot of TCGs, I normally defer back to the shinies. Give me the shinies. But again, it's something that I've been a collector for stuff that I like for a while, right? But I don't think that's how you actually grow a game and grow a community is by saying, "Hey, come sign up for this event. You can get shinies." We do know that I believe Ryan Miller and the team has come out and said that we will not have unique cards at least events like conventions, I believe. So if they did have an OP where they offered unique cards at as pre-release events or OP kits or whatever, I don't know if they would do something like that. If they did, it might just be like an alternate art or whatever. So like I'm always for that stuff like that. I'm always for the shinies. I'm always for the product, right? But one thing that Jim and I had talked about, and I don't know if this would actually be feasible, right? But this is definitely, I think this is a good way of showing the community, hey, we care about you and we want to grow this community. But having like reps from the design team or the company, go to LGSs and be like, hey, I'm here to show people how to play the game and help grow the community. So again, like, is that something that's feasible? Most likely not. It would just be really cool to see something like that, because again, as someone who's gone into an LGS, the LGS owner is under they have to wear a lot of hats. They got to run the store, but they also have to grow their community, right? But they also have to figure out what games their community likes to play and then help grow those specific communities. So I feel like they need help with that. And so if a designer wants to grow their game, give them some help. And that's something we would love to see. But again, is that feasible? I don't know. I don't know if that's something that's legitimately feasible or not. It'd be cool, but I don't know.
Now that we've talked about organized play and what we like to see and also other cool stuff, let's talk a little bit about what you'll be able to get your hands on whenever you're finally able to get cards. So the first thing that we know about is that the initial set, the first chapter, is going to be launching with 204 cards. So that's a pretty decent sized set. It's not a huge 300 and something card Magic base set, but as far as the rest of things go, I think 204 is fine. Someone did the math, and with 6 ink colors, that comes out to be 34 cards per color. So I think we could have some interesting variants there, depending on how many cards we're allowed to have in our decks. Speaking of decks, there's also going to be 3 different starter decks available at launch. So they all have 60 cards. So I think it is fair to make the assumption that we're going to be playing with 60 card decks. Whether that's going to have some kind of separate resource deck included in that 60 cards or not, nobody knows, but we'll find out spring 2023. Maybe earlier, since August is not fall.
Nice.
And so these 3 decks are each broken into 2 ink categories. So the first one features Moana and Mickey, and not the brave little tailor we've seen already. This Mickey is the purple sorcerer Mickey from the preview trailer. So that one is going to be Amber and Amethyst, or Amberthist, as the community has already dubbed it. And I'm super excited for that one in particular. Personally, next up is going to be Cruella and Aladdin, which is going to be Emerald and Ruby, respectively. The Aladdin is really interesting because he's got little like ruby, like the symbol for ruby, like on his pants and stuff. And he's Dreamborn. He's 100% Dreamborn, and I'm super excited to see what this take on Aladdin is. He might be Floodborn. I don't know. He's not Storyborn. We know that. And then the final one is going to be Aurora, which someone remind me who Aurora is. Is that Sleeping Beauty or something?
Princess
Sleeping
from
Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Cool. Let me make
Yes,
sure I got
correct.
that right. Because I know if I didn't know who that was, then other people wouldn't know who that was. And Simba. And I don't need to tell y'all who Simba is. And that one is going to be Sapphire and Steel.
Simba.
Also, in each starter deck, you're going to get 1 12-card booster pack and 11 game tokens. We have no idea what these tokens are or what they're for. We have seen in one of the other products some kind of little tracker token. So the current theory is that those 11 game tokens, 1 is going to be the tracker token, and there's going to be 10 others tokens that we don't know what they are or what they do. And then the last big thing that we know about the starter decks is that, 2 things. 1, they're non-exclusive. So it's already been confirmed that every card you get in the starter deck, you can get in the booster packs. So you don't have to worry about shelling out for starter decks just to get, one certain card, or buying 2 or 3 copies of a starter deck so you can get a playset that you need. And then finally, there's going to be a holo of the cover characters. So you're going to get a holo Moana and a holo Mickey, a holo Cruella and a holo Aladdin. Aladdin in the starter deck. So I already told y'all what my choice was if I had to pick one to play first. So what's everybody else's?
Mine is definitely going to have to be the Aurora symbol, Simba. The blue and steel, or, oh god, I forgot the gemstone for blue. But like, just that combo seems very interesting to me. And Sapphire, yes. I don't know. It seems like with what we've seen so far, with Hook being, Hook is silver. So like maybe like an aggro type of deck, like blue. It just seems right, and it seems like my play style. So that's why I'm most excited for it.
So I honestly, I'd have to go with Aladdin and Cruella, just because I am a huge Aladdin. Like, Aladdin was my favorite movie growing up. And we don't really know what the colors mean so far. All we can just go off of is, what characters are on the colors. Just because I like Aladdin, I would go with Aladdin. But I really do kind of like Simba and Aurora, the blue and blue and silver. But honestly, the art on all these just looks amazing. But my pick would be Aladdin and Cruella.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time between Aurora and Simba and Moana and Mickey. Mostly because Mickey, I just love Mickey. And then Simba is like my first Disney movie experience. So there's a lot of nostalgia there. So it's going to take seeing the rest of the deck list for me to make a solid decision, and knowing how the game plays too. So
Spring of 2023.
that could be tomorrow.
Next up, we have our booster packs, which it's cool. We don't know how many come in a box. Based off the picture of the box, I'm gonna guess 24 because it looks kind of it's long and thin, so I don't think there's 12 cards or 12 packs in each of those stacks, but it could be 36. Who knows? We know it is a multiple of 3. Now, in each booster pack, you'll get 12 randomized cards. 6 of those cards will be commons, 3 of them will be uncommons, 2 of them will be either a rare, super rare, or legendary card. So we have 5 rarities and 1 foil card that can be any rarity. Which is pretty cool. I love having guaranteed foils. I'm not 100% on the 5 rarities and how that's going to impact the cost of the game if you're buying off the secondary market, if legendaries turn out to be like super need to have cards. But I think since you get 2 rare slots per pack, it could work out. I'd really like them to see them use the same ratio that MHA does, which is every 4 packs you get a super rare, and then every box you would get what is essentially a legendary in this. But since there's doubled, it would be for every 4 rares you get a super rare, so you'd end up with 12 super rares, 2 legendaries, and a boatload of rares per box. That's what I'd like to see. Do y'all have any thoughts on like pull rates?
I mean, initially, I like the slots. I like there not being 12 different rarities. So there being only 5, I like. It makes, the simpler you make stuff, I think the better. Um, so we'll just have to see. It's cost is really going to be dependent upon not necessarily rarity, but pull rates, like you were talking about, Sneaky, but also the meta and what cards are actually going to be good and playable. So I like it. I like that it's relatively simple, at least to start. So yeah, I'm a fan. Now, the one thing I will say is the foils. As long as the foils don't, they're not Pringles. Then we'll be good.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's really going to depend largely on your location. Because what causes cards to Pringle is a disparity between heat and humidity from where they were printed. So there are ways around things Pringling. It just requires effort if you're in somewhere that is drastically different from where they were printed.
yeah, but if yeah, but honestly, I think if I have to put an effort to make sure my cards don't bend like that, then I think you need to kind of look at the printing process too, which again
Yeah,
is not
for sure.
not Ravensburger, somebody else doing the printing, right? So, but like there have been other games that have had really really bad foiling issues recently.
Yeah. I mean, it's up
I
to
just don't want to see
Ravensburger
it. That's all.
one to, yeah. I mean, it is up to Ravensburger one to choose who their printer is, but then also to determine what quality cardboard they're
Right.
printing on. So hopefully they're investing
Right.
into the game and
Right.
choosing quality because, yeah, nobody
Right.
wants tissue paper to play their games with.
Right.
Teddy, Blake, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm happy with the ratio that they have here, and I'm very interested to see what type of foiling that they do. I do know in a previous interview from back in the D23 days, they mentioned a few different samples that they looked at. So I'm very interested to see what they go with.
Yeah, I'm really happy with what they did with like the 1 guaranteed foil per pack because, you know, it's nice to have shinies. Everybody enjoys pulling shinies. But as it has come to my attention, based off of some Discord conversations, uh, you know, people actually want non-foiled cards for a variety of reasons. And having that option of having non-foiled cards, but then also guaranteeing that you're getting a shiny every single pack instead of once every 4 or 6 packs or whatever, and you have no idea what it's going to be. It just adds that little extra bit of consistency and option for you to get something really really cool. Because if you pull a legendary foil, like let's go. um on to our next item. So we have the Illumineers Trove. So according to them, it's set to be the biggest collectible set at launch. It's going to include 8 booster packs, so a portion of a booster box, 2 deck boxes, a player's guide, 15 game tokens, and a themed storage box. The other thing that was worth mentioning was that the player's guide sounded really, really cool because not only is it going to have you have like rules and tips and tricks for building decks and collecting and things of that nature, but apparently it's going to have a complete card list. So I personally really like the idea of having like a whole physical catalog of cards that I can just flip through and look like in a book, or whether it pulls out as a poster or whatever it is, I don't know. But I do like that idea of having that physical thing that I can flip through and look at and have as reference if I need it, which is pretty cool. Apparently, I know nothing about Pokemon, but this is equivalent to their Elite Trainer box. And unfortunately, Lorcana Twitter did say that this particular product and the next one we're going to talk about are only available in English at release.
Sneaky, would you buy this product specifically for that player's guide? Because you were saying like you like having something physical, even though you could look up the card list on probably 20 different websites. Do you like having that something physical for that?
It really depends on the quality of the player's guide and what exactly I'm getting, but it and the cost of this. There are some tentative costs that people have seen from European regions and stuff, but I'm not going to put any weight on that yet. At the cost that it is, I mean, I was planning on buying this anyways, just because I think all the stuff that it comes with is really cool, and I get boosters anyways, so I think it's a good value. So I would probably buy it just for the player's guide and the boosters, and all the other stuff is just gravy. But who if you're a TCG player and you don't have way too many deck boxes, then are you really a TCG player?
honestly though, if I'm buying this product, I am probably tossing the storage box. I'm probably tossing or selling the deck boxes, because again, like there are other companies who make really, really, really good deck boxes, and I'm assuming these deck boxes. I mean, there's going to be people who like it just for what's on it, and that there's definitely something to be said for that as well. I will be interested. I'm going to be interested to see the quality of the deck boxes. Right. So the quality of all these accessories is going to be something I'm very intrigued in. So I've got a ton of sleeves. I got a ton of deck boxes. I don't really need more unless they're really good.
And I think it's safe to say that these are not going to be Gamegenics. Let's be honest.
Exactly. And I love Gamegenic.
Yeah. Or even like some of the Ultra Pro line, like they have really good stuff too. These are going to just be very standard. I'm looking at them as like it's just going to be like the fodder stuff. I'm just going to stick commons in there, so I can give them away at.
And it's going to be stuff that makes Ravensburger a ton of money, because there's a ton of money to be had in this space.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they start doing license products with other companies. All right, so the final thing that they talked about coming out on release is a gift set that is going to feature Mulan and Hades. It's going to include 2 oversized foil cards for people who just like big cards for display or whatever, 2 foil game cards, one of Mulan, one of Hades, 4 booster packs, and 34 game tokens. Take that as you will. There are two special game tokens featuring Mulan and Hades, and they're like little plastic tokens with the card art for Mulan and Hades printed on it. I personally don't like them, but other people might like them a lot. Again, this is going to be English only. And yeah, what are y'all's thoughts on this?
I'm gonna say this is probably. I mean, a booster box is a lot of packs, but this is kind of what I'm looking forward to the most. Not gonna lie, like you just said, you didn't like tokens. I love tokens. I'm a dice collector. I'm a token collector. So being able to get those and add them to my collection, I think it's gonna be really nice. Uh, I would guess this is gonna go for like $25-$30 maybe. That's my bet. Because if you think about look at Pokemon's, if you look at Pokemon's Elite Trainer box, which is the equivalent to the Lumineers Trove, that's $40. So I don't expect the gift set to be more than that. I expect booster boxes with the prediction of 24 to be like $80-$90 maybe. Or the Lumineers Trove to be like 40-45, and the gift set to be 25-30. So if you like want to get a friend into it, or like just an easy pickup, I think this is perfect. And I think that with whatever all they release, this is definitely my favorite one I'm looking forward to the most, just because I love Mulan and Hades too, and I think those cards look really cool. But I think this is like that perfect in the middle. I don't want to spend a bunch of money, but I still want to get some products and stuff like that. And you can also like, if you look, I mean, those cards maybe they fit well on a deck together too. So I think that is something you can also look at as well.
I got a question for you then, Teddy. You were talking about game tokens. When I see game tokens, my mind immediately goes to cardboard cutout tokens. So, are you thinking these are going to be higher quality than that? Because as far as I'm aware, they don't really say.
That is my hope, but I do see where you're coming from in the cardboard cutouts. But if they are, then like I know I've laminated cardboard stuff like that before, and
Yeah.
like just like, and so I know how I could make it into a nicer
Yeah,
thing. But
yeah. There's
if it
definitely
was like
stuff
a
you
nice
can
like
do.
vinyl plastic, that would be nice. But I could see it being cardboard as well.
One other thing you can do, and I've done this in like the Arkham LCG, is get the little coin caps. They're plastic caps where you can put coins in. So as long as you get the right size, you can put your tokens in there. That is very nice. That actually turns those tokens into really nice products as well.
Yeah, there's also a craft product that's used a lot in mini wargaming for various stuff called Mod Podge, and specifically Mod Podge Dimensional Magic can turn your dinky little cardboard tokens into these really cool, tough, super glossy little tokens. It's work, takes work, but it can make some pretty cool little stuff. One thing that I'm interested in is the 4 booster packs, because something I would have really liked to see is something on the lines of like fat packs, where you just like pick it up and then you and like 4 of your buddies pick it up and you can have a sealed, like without having to drop $100 on a booster box or whatever. So I'm interested to see like what sealed is going to look like for this, and I wonder if it's going to be 4 booster packs would be sealed. And if you could just grab these like gift sets and then just have a sealed tournament and then also get all this other stuff. So just thoughts.
Yeah, with the gift set and the Illumineers Trove, they're definitely taking their notes from the other TCGs and releasing these very similar products. So definitely just looking forward to seeing what they bring to the game to change it up for themselves. Because I know, like with the Illumineers Trove, the biggest difference that I see comparing to Pokemon's Elite Trainer boxes, their boxes come with sleeves instead of deck boxes. So personally, I think I would take the sleeves over the boxes. It really will depend on the quality of those deck boxes.
I think I agree. I think I'd rather have sleeves than a deck box, to be honest.
Last little thing I want to talk about, just this gift set, is the cards themselves. So I won't go through the whole card because we'll save that for another episode. But I just did want to point out that we can read the text for some of their abilities, and both of them increase your pip count, which is something that is very intriguing. And with the current theory that the pips are the way that you get your win con, it'll be really interesting to see how these cards are used and how they can actually progress your game strategy, or how pivotal they are to your game strategy. So I'm super excited about them. It's something that we haven't seen before. I haven't seen it in a game before, so I'm excited for them.
Two things. Number one, Disney Lorcana, the first day of spring, they better come out and say, okay, here we are releasing the gameplay. How this is how you play Disney Lorcana. They keep saying spring 2023. All right, guys, first day of spring. I will be waiting. I will be calling you out. First day of spring. Let's go, people. Second thing. Hades. So the area behind the cost. Again, we're pretty sure it's the cost. He doesn't have that little flourish or whatever. I noticed that, and I'm like, that is like the card Dragonfire. So I want to know what it means. I just want to know what it means.
Just slowly wrapping us up, we did also get confirmation of other products coming to the game that aren't like pack related and stuff like that. So we do have confirmation of the 3 deck boxes, like Sneaky talked about. We have card sleeves, and it says 65 come in a set. So if the 60 card deck is confirmed, then we have 5 extras. And the first set will feature Hook, Elsa, and Mickey Mouse. And I know Sean would be very excited about Hook. Deck boxes hold 80 sleeve cards and feature the same characters, Hook, Elsa, and Mickey Mouse, like the sleeves. So you can match those up. The 3 playmats are going to include Maleficent, Mickey Mouse, and then a character whose art we haven't seen yet, Maui, which that's what I'm most excited for. That Maui is just going to look amazing, I think. If it's just a blown up Maui, I can almost hear the playmat singing "You're Welcome" to me. And then the portfolios, which I think is another way to say binder. It's going to hold 64 standard cards as well as 8 oversized cards, which I'm very interested to see how those are designed in regards to just the fact that like we've never seen something that can fit both of those before. And I definitely think like that'll be more for collecting or just putting like tradables in there, because it's sad to say, but like most like game made, I don't know if this is the best word, but like products that come straight from the game are a little less quality than like something like a site or a company that specifically designs stuff like that. So it'll just be interesting to see how good these products are and like their how they man up in like a tournament or something. Like if you can actually use the sleeves or if like they rip after one game. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Just short, quick thoughts on all of this rest of these products we have.
I mean, my first thing was I wasn't surprised. Again, I think Ravensburger knows how popular these types of products are in the TCG and CCG space, and I think I'm wondering if they're going to make the most of their money here. Again, just because I'm not sure what the profit margins are like for these types of products, but not surprised. I'm very interested to see the quality, like I said before. But I think they know that TCG players eat this kind of stuff up, just like Sneaky was talking about earlier. So I'm not surprised. So that's kind of it. Like I said, I will be interested to see the quality of the sleeves and deck boxes. Playmats are going to be nice too. So I'll be interested to see if we can get these types of products elsewhere, like we were talking about earlier with other licensed products as well.
I just want to know why the portfolio is so non-standard. That's just what I want to know. It's so weird. It's obviously it's a 4 card binder, and a front and back of 4 pages are just going to be one big pocket for an oversized card. But even then, it doesn't even add up to the amount that's usually in a 4 card binder. So it's just everything about it's weird, and I'm confused. I just want to know. It intrigues me so much as to why this was the decision that they made.
Yeah, the main thing I can say about it is that I'm happy that there's a way that's being provided to store slash display your oversized cards, because it's always been a hassle back when I collected Pokemon, figuring out what to do with those things. Miller did have some more to say on these products in particular. He says, "We have put together a robust line of fun and exciting products for the first set of of Disney Lorcana. Having a variety of products lets players engage at whatever level they would like to, be it pick it up a starter set to get a taste of each of the ink colors gameplay and style, or snag an Illumineers trove to experience as much as the game as possible. Also, we also want to show that we are serious and that we are here to stay.
All right, so there you have it. We are all so very excited for these new products and news that we got today. And I know that we are ready for this release in being earlier than I think we all expected. And we are just excited for the game in general. So we hope you all enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait for the next one.
Thanks everyone for listening. We want to thank Dan from Hobbies and Happiness for coming on and talking about all the new news with us. We're all super excited for what this brings for Lorcana and can't wait to get our hands on the product. That's all for now. Thanks, and Glimmer on.